What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and let's get into it. And we are starting off with the story from CNN about Whoopi Goldberg, who is being suspended from ABC News' The View. ABC News has suspended The View host Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks on Tuesday night, one day after she drew significant criticism for falsely declaring that the Holocaust was not about race. Effective immediately, I'm suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments, ABC News President Kim Godwin said in a statement. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect on and learn about the impact of her comments, Godwin added. The entire ABC News organization stands in solidarity with our Jewish colleagues, friends, family, and communities. As Godwin said in a statement, Goldberg has, in fact, apologized for a remark. On Monday night, Goldberg apologized in a note posted to Twitter, and on Tuesday, Goldberg opened up The View, offering yet another apology. Yesterday on our show, I Misspoke. I tweeted about it last night, but I want you to hear it from me directly, the comedian actor said. I said something that I feel a responsibility for not leaving unexamined because my words upset so many people, which was never my intention. I understand why now, and for that I am deeply, deeply grateful because the information I got was really helpful and it helped me understand some different things. I said the Holocaust wasn't about race, it was instead about man's inhumanity to man. Goldberg said Tuesday on The View, but it is indeed about race because Hitler and the Nazis considered Jews to be an inferior race. She continued, now words matter and mine are no exception. I regret my comments as I said, and I stand corrected. I stand with the Jewish people as they know and y'all know because I've always done that. The comments bothered staffers though at ABC News. While some have accepted her apology, others believe disciplinary action is necessary, according to conversations with employees. And Goldberg is no stranger to controversies, with statements she has made in the past. One of those in 2009, where she made remarks about Roman Polanski. I will not read the exact remark because can't read that on YouTube. Or BitChute. Well, you can read it, but well, you're gonna get demonetized, and yeah, nobody wants to have adverts on that, do they? And she also defended Bill Cosby, but ultimately reversed that position. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg's in trouble on fire and burning, and yeah, I don't know what to say. The comments were stupid. Like anyone with an education knows that what she says was wrong. I'm not saying that Whoopi Goldberg is uneducated. I'm just saying that anyone with an education knows that what she said was wrong, right? So the only way I can see it is that you said it in a way where you meant to be malicious. Like I don't know, I don't know. Like I don't know how you can say those things and not know that they're wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. It, are you? I'll ask the question for Americans who are watching this. Are you taught about the Holocaust in history? I'm presuming that you taught about World War II, but are you taught in depth about the Holocaust, or is that part omitted? Like, I'm just asking, not criticizing in any way. It would be interesting to get the perspective upon the education system. Is this an education system failure? Like, is there just some ways where this isn't taught correctly and people don't know this? Because it's quite common in Europe for everyone to know this. So I'm just wondering if it's an American thing. Moving on to another story, and this one is a sad one. Oh, this is disturbing, to say the least. 2 officers were shot and killed at Bridgewater College, and the suspect is in custody. This comes from WHSV.com. Bridgewater. College officials report that there was an active shooter on the Bridgewater College campus. A Bridgewater College campus law enforcement officer and campus safety officer was shot during this incident. A suspect is now in custody. Approximately 1:20 p.m. February 1st, 2022, the Bridgewater College Police Department, Town of Bridgewater Police Department, Virginia State Police, Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, City of Harrisonburg, Augustus Sheriff's Office, Town of Dayton Police Department, FBI, and the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries respond to a report of an active shooter on the Bridgewater College campus. Holy crap, that's a lot of law enforcement agencies. Campus Police Officer John Painter and Campus Safety Officer J.J. Jefferson were shot and killed. Condolences to the families. The initial report came in that Painter and Jefferson had responded to a call of a suspicious individual who was on campus in Memorial Hall. After a brief interaction, 27-year-old Alexander Wyatt Campbell opened fire and shot both officers. Campbell then fled on foot and was located on Riverside Drive in Bridgewater. By 1:55 p.m., the male shooter Campbell was taken into police custody. The suspect was taken to Centara RMH for a non-life-threatening gunshot wound, where he was treated and released. He's being held without bond at Rockingham County Regional Jail. Virginia State Police are still working to determine how the suspect was shot. Campbell was charged with 2 felony counts of capital murder, 1 felony count of first-degree murder, and 1 felony count of use of firearm in a commission of a felony. This is awful, obviously, absolutely awful that 2 officers died. Thank God this wasn't worse than what it was, but it makes no difference because 2 people still died because of this. And thank God those officers stopped him from, getting into a classroom or something. That would have been the worst case scenario, right? Is if he was got to the, students and teachers and faculty members. And yeah, it's just so sad that these officers lost their lives. And I think that's something that you have to remember. We see stories about bad police officers, right? But you've also got to remember, like, the good ones, like these 2 who who literally gave their life trying to protect people and trying to stop this person who they were, suspected who was going to do terrible things. And, he had a gun, he opened fire on them, and, it's just awful. It's awful all around. More needs to be done about this. And we're moving on to another story. It's about a 4-year-old. This comes from the Sun Herald. A 4-year-old shoots self in car whilst mum smokes weed in front seat. Louisiana cops there. And this is, it comes down to gun control again, all this. The access to guns is too unrestricted, and this keeps happening. A 4-year-old Louisiana boy died after he accidentally shot himself in the head whilst his mother and friend got high in the front seat, authorities said. Jarian Walker and his younger siblings were seated in the back of their mom's car on Saturday, January 29th, when the 4-year-old fatally shot himself with a gun he found in the vehicle, according to Jefferson Parish Sheriff's deputies. Authorities were called to the scene around 10:45 p.m. to find the child with what initially appeared to be a gunshot wound to the back of the head. Sheriff Joseph Lapinto said, however, autopsy results showed he was actually suffered a contact wound to the front of the head, leading investigators to believe the injury was self-inflicted. Jarian was taken to a hospital for treatment but died, authorities said. These types of deaths can certainly be prevented, Lapinto told reporters at a news conference on Monday, January 31st. Gun safety is something that is apparent. We shouldn't even leave a gun inside of our vehicle for numerous different reasons, this one being the most tragic reason. At least 2 other kids, a 1-year-old and a 22-month-old, were in the car when the shooting occurred, according to the sheriff. Police initially thought one of them may have fired a fatal shot, but ballistics evidence made it more probable than not that Jarian had accidentally shot himself. And obviously this is very horrific and sad as well. Their mother and another adult were smoking marijuana in the front seat, police said. They didn't realize why the kids had a gun. So far, neither has been charged in the incident, Lapinto said. We can always put blame on people, but I don't think it's appropriate to make an arrest on this at this moment, he said. They've just lost a child. That certainly wasn't intentional by any means. This is the thing, though. This is the problem I have, is if they're not responsible, who is responsible for it? Someone has to be held responsible, right? But, I don't know, more needs to be done with gun safety, especially with relation to children, and that's really what I have in mind with these children. The statistics upon it are quite shocking when you see how many children are injured or die because of accidental, or in some cases intentional, but through gun violence, right? Moving on to the next story from CNN. Another 19 convictions tied to a corrupt Chicago cop are being tossed. Another 19 people have had their criminal convictions vacated as part of a review of convictions tied to a crooked cop, former Sergeant Ronald Cook County State Attorney Kim Fox said Tuesday. More than 100 people with over 133 cases have had their convictions vacated since 2017. His prosecutors reviewed misconduct by Watts and members of his unit, according to Fox. We were able to provide relief to right the wrongs of the past, but make no mistake, this is a sorrowful, sorrowful moment knowing that these individuals never get back time in their lives, and their families will never get that time back, and their futures will be dictated by the actions of these officers. The people whose sentences were vacated claimed they were framed by Watts and the police and unit he ran. For more than a decade, Watts and his team operated a protection racket that involved planting evidence and fabricating charges against Southside residents whilst facilitating their own drug and gun trade, according to the Exoneration Project, a free legal clinic at the University of Chicago Law School. In 2013, Watts was sentenced to nearly 2 years in prison for stealing thousands from an FBI informant posing as a drug dealer. He was released in 2015. CNN could not immediately reach Watts for comment on Tuesday. The Cook County State's Attorney Office said it would not oppose petitions filed by 48 more people involving 54 cases, requesting their case to be dismissed as part of the office's ongoing review. Those actions will be decided across 2 court dates, February 8th and February 16th. And it's shocking, right? But this happens, right? This happens. It's scary. These people have had their lives destroyed by these corrupt officers. You know, this officer and his unit, right? Shocking. No amount of money can rectify it either, right? There isn't anything that you could do to rectify this. There's no price that is justified to say, oh, well, you've been made whole because it's time, right? And also, I think it's worth remembering that this is prison, right? It's not a luxury hotel. You're not going to, a fancy hotel. You're in prison with criminals that will beat the crap out of you, that might stab you, that might even kill you, right? And you live with that for every single day. And there is this thing about people becoming institutionalized in prison. For many of these people, living in the outside world will be extremely hard and maybe for some impossible, right? They might never ever fully integrate back into society. And that's the sad thing about this. Moving on to the final story, though, and this comes from CNN as well. Comic book store owners are offering to ship banned Holocaust novel Mouse to Tennessee students for free. After a Tennessee school board banned a graphic novel about the Holocaust from local middle schools, comic book store owners from near and far pledged to send students the book for free. The Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel Mouse was banned on January 10th after a unanimous vote by the McMinn County, Tennessee Board of Education. Written by Art Spiegelman, Mouse tells the story of his parents in the 1940s, following the Jewish family's experience with rising anti-Semitism to their internment at the Auschwitz concentration camp. It depicts the Jewish people as mice and Nazis as cats. The novel was removed for unnecessary use of profanity and nudity and its depiction of violence and suicide, the Education Board said in a statement, adding the work was simply too adult-oriented for use in our schools. News of the Mouse ban upset fans from across the nation. In California, some 2,400 miles away from McMinn County, Ryan Higgins had a plan. Higgins, owner of Comics Conspiracy in Sunnyvale, a city around 40 miles south of San Francisco. On January 16th, the day before Holocaust Remembrance Day, Higgins tweeted that he would donate 100 copies of the book to families in McMinn County. A very nice gesture by him, by the way. Just DM me your address, Higgins wrote. CNN on John Tapper retweeted his offer. So Jake Tapper retweeted his offer, and it took off from there. Higgins told CNN on Tuesday. As of Tuesday evening, his tweet had over 12,000 likes and more than 3,000 retweets. Our phone has been ringing up the hook with endless support. Higgins said, the few copies of Mouse Higgins had in stock at the store sold out immediately, he said, and the reorder should arrive back Friday. Higgins plans to send them out shortly after. And this is not a book that's all about pornography and violence, he said. It teaches these kids about the horrors of the Holocaust in a more palatable way. There's some of the pictures that are just horrific. And I was there, I've watched a lot of documentaries upon the Holocaust and read a lot of articles and stuff online. And when you see the footage and the images of what happened, that is some pretty traumatizing stuff to look at, to see, to witness. It just absolutely is. I don't even know how to describe it. When you've seen it, it is shocking, and I feel like shocking that at a young age is worse than them reading this book, right? This book depicts it in a better way of comprehension for people who were younger, right? When you're in high school, then you're at the maturity level where you can watch those documentaries and see those images, right? But I feel like, yeah. Higgins says he first read the book when he was a teenager. It's more than just a comic book, he added. Reading it, I was pretty blown away. Last week's viral tweet wasn't even the first time Higgins tried to help out faraway students. In December, he tweeted out a similar offer after tech school book banned the novel V for Vendetta and the series Why the Last Man. Oh, they banned V for Vendetta? Wow. McMinn students have also received similar offers from comic book lovers a little closer to home in Knoxville, just north of McMinn County in Nirvana. Comic shop announced it would loan copies of Mouse to local students. Rich Davis, who calls the star with Grant and Jasmine Mitchell, told CNN the original plan was to let other students borrow the 10 copies they had of the graphic novel. But as the new of the program spread across the social media, the plans have become a lot bigger. The program has grown from a small lending library in our store to the point where we will be all able to provide well over 1,000 books all over the country, Davis said. And it's really, really good what these book owners and store owners are doing because, there is this attempt to ban anything related to these subjects and topics. And effectively, it's an attempt to erase history. And that isn't healthy. That isn't right. Not only does it prevent teaching children of the mistakes of the past, which is an extremely important thing. Children need to know what happened, how did we get to where we are, and they need to know all the good things and they need to know all the bad things. Only with that can they see and learn from the mistakes that we've made so they themselves in their lives don't make the same mistakes in the future and don't allow the same mistakes to happen, right? And that's also comes down to why I don't like censorship of free speech and stuff because again, if you don't have open debates and conversations, you allow for horrible things to happen again because people can't speak up for it, can't speak against it. Good on these comic book store owners for doing what they've done. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Let me know what you think about all the topics we have discussed. And goodbye.